Hey, it's Tony. I am back today with another short, sweet, and southern recipe for you. I am going to be making a Napa cabbage salad. It's also called usually like an Asian salad, or I've heard people call it like crazy slaw or something similar to that. But it's a really easy recipe. Not a lot of ingredients to it as well, and it's something that with summer coming up, you can make it kind of at the last minute and take it to a cookout or a family get together, and it should be something that hopefully you won't have to have a lot of ingredients to do and a lot of time to do. So I'm going to get started today, and a lot of what I'm going to do is going to be on the stove. That's going to be the hardest part of this recipe, is just browning together your ingredients and mixing up some stuff for your dressing. So for our crunchy part of our recipe, I have broken up 2 bags of ramen noodles and 2 packs, and I went ahead and just broke those up in a Ziploc bag. You want them to be still like the crunchy. You don't want to cook them. You just want to break them up whole, put them in the bag, and you can use a rolling pin or whatever you want to break these up. And then you're also going to use some sunflower kernels and some sliced almonds. And what you're going to do is you're going to take some butter and you're going to brown those together on the stove. So I'm going to go over and brown those, and you can see what I'm doing in just a second. So I'm going to start some butter over on the stove. And I'm putting 6 tablespoons of butter in the pan. And we want to just let that melt. So our butter has melted, and we want to go ahead and pour in those ramen noodles that we've crushed up in the Ziploc bag. Put those all in there. Just kind of stir them around and get them coated in the butter. And that was 2 packages of the ramen noodles, the dry noodles. And you won't actually need the flavoring for this, so it doesn't matter what flavor noodles you buy, because we won't use the flavor packets. You can save those for another recipe. So we're getting the noodles started. To that, we're going to add a ½ cup of sliced almonds and 1 cup of sunflower seeds. And we're just going to mix all this together, and we're going to brown it until it's kind of a golden color. So our noodles and our nuts and seeds have been cooking for about 5 minutes on medium heat, and you can see that they are getting a good golden brown color on there, and they smell really good. So this is the time that I want to go ahead and just take these off the stove and just let them sit, because they will burn really quickly at this point. So I just want to go ahead and take these off the stove. Now that we've finished our toppings and our crunchy part, we want to go ahead and make the dressing for our salad. So to that, we are going to add 1 cup of olive oil. We're going to add in a ½ cup of vinegar, and I'm using rice vinegar, but I have saw recipes that call for white vinegar, apple cider vinegar, different kinds of vinegar. So you can use whatever you have on hand, but I've used the rice vinegar. And then also a cup of white granulated sugar, and 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. And the key here is we just want to bring this to a boil and get this sugar dissolved into this mixture. So we've got the oil, vinegar, sugar, soy sauce mixture at a boil, and I'm going to let this boil for a couple of minutes just to make sure that everything is dissolved together and mixed together really well, and then we'll take this off the stove and start assembling our salad. Okay, so I have finished our topping and our dressing for our salad, and the assembly part is actually the easiest part. I just take a bag of this coleslaw mix, and it's actually just shredded cabbage. There's no carrots or anything in here. You can add green onions if you like to this. Some people do. I'm not a big green onion fan on most things, so I typically don't. Also, if you're making this for a crowd, for a get-together or something, and you want to serve it all at once, you can go ahead and have everything made up. You can even make this up ahead of time. and then just assemble it right before you eat it. That way your dressing doesn't make your crunchy part soggy. But what I like to do at my house, because we don't eat it all at one time typically, is I just put a little bit out on a plate. So I just take a little bit of our cabbage, put a little of that out. I take some of our crunchiness here, just sprinkle this over the top. And then what I like to do with the dressing is I like to go ahead and put it in a mason jar. And that way, if you need to shake it up, if it settles or anything, you have a lid on there, you can just give it a good shake. And then I just drizzle this over. That's probably enough. And you can actually double this recipe if you want, if you're making it for a lot of people and you want to double it, you can. And then I'll usually just take and just toss it around. Make sure it's covered good in the dressing. And that's it. I will put the recipe here at the end of the video so that you can try it. And if you do try it, let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and be sure to check back with me for more short, sweet, and southern recipes. So guys, I did make one slight change to my recipe after the fact. After I went back and tasted the dressing that I had originally made, it was a little bit heavy and just didn't taste exactly like it normally has in the past. So I think that it was because the olive oil I was using was an extra virgin olive oil and it was a little bit heavy. So I switched over to this extra light tasting olive oil, and I've remade it again. So you can see that it's lighter in color and it looks more like what it usually looks like whenever I make it. So in the future, whenever you make it, or if you do make this recipe, use an extra light olive oil and not a extra virgin olive oil, and that should help with the taste of your dressing. So again, I appreciate you guys watching and hope you enjoy. Thank you.